Do you know who the strongest figure out of all the different mythologies that exist is? No, it's not Zeus or Odin. It's a monkey from Chinese mythology. He may be unknown to you, but in China, over 40 Monkey King movies, 30 television series, 7 stage plays, and several comic and animated versions were made, and more are in the planning stages. The Chinese Monkey King named Sun Wukong gained immortality and superpower from years of spiritual study, as well as fights with deities and demons. So today, we're going to find out who this crazy strong monkey is and what's he all about. Sun Wukong, unlike any other immortal, was born in an abnormal way. He was created from an immortal stone egg discovered on Mount Huaguo, also known as the Mountain of Flowers and Fruits. It was a massive stone, more than 36 feet tall and 24 feet in circumference. There were no trees to shade and shelter the stone, yet it was long nurtured by seeds from heaven and earth. The essence produced by the sun, moon, and stars was also used to nurture the immortal stone, which subsequently became pregnant with a subnormal embryo. The egg eventually broke apart after thousands of years of heavenly nurturing, giving birth to a stone egg. It was a little stone roughly the size of a football that progressively transformed into a stone monkey after being exposed to the wind. It was just a regular monkey with no superpowers at that time. He was around 4 feet tall and very skinny. Sun Wukong had no parent, mother, brother, or sister because he was hatched from an eternal stone egg. So he wandered the silent and scary alpine area looking for company. He observed a bunch of roaming monkeys one day and silently followed them. He was exceedingly cautious, unsure of their reactions, and fearful that the group would assault him. But he was detected. Fortunately for him, they liked him and took him into their care. Since he was finally able to find pals to play, eat, and sleep with, he decided to live with them. He opted to live with them since he was finally able to find pals to play, eat, and sleep with. One of the elder monkeys suggested a game one day while they were playing about by a waterfall, in which whoever could leap across the waterfall and find its source would be crowned king of monkeys. Sun Wukong, with his yet dormant immortal instinct, accepted the challenge. He leaped ahead of the other monkeys that were screeching and struggling with the wet and slimy stone surfaces of the waterfall. He hurried upstream, hanging among the tree branches and avoiding the hissing snarls of venomous snakes hidden among the rocks. He finally identified the source of the stream, let out a loud howl, and declared himself king of the monkeys. He spent his days munching, playing, and having fun with his monkey pals. Sun Wukong, like any monkey, was mischievous and a natural-born trickster, with a nasty sense of humor. Because he was the Monkey King, he could also be greedy, cynical, and ruthless. He was unconcerned with the opinions of others and only did things for his own satisfaction. One of the monkeys slipped and died during one of its silly squabbles. Sun Wukong was left with a deep scar as he immediately realized the threat and possibility of death. He realized despite all the joy and luxury, he too will die one day. He was depressed and resolved to give up everything in search of immortality and abilities. As a result, he abandoned his monkey companions to embark on his uncertain journey alone. Wukong traveled aimlessly for a long time until he came across a human village one day. Since no one was around, people fled, terrified of his monkey-human appearance. He stole some food and clothing and resumed his quest for immortality. He arrived in a jungle after several days of travel when he heard someone singing a wonderful melody. Inquiring about the melody, he was told that an immortal living deep in the forest had taught him the tune. He eventually reached the location that appeared to be an entrance to a temple. He peeked in, but the mystical immortal, Zushi, forbade him entry. Sun Wukong persevered and waited for months. Zushi, moved by the Monkey King's persistence, ultimately let him in and accepted Wukong's plea to be his pupil to discover the path to immortality, but only on the condition that Wukong would not flaunt his abilities or expose the source of his newfound knowledge. Sun Wukong, of course, had to consent, and the minute he said yes, he suddenly woke up and found himself back in the forest. Sun Wukong then realized that those years of teaching and learning had occurred in a time-constrained trance, similar to a dream. With his newfound immortality and new friends forged with other powerful demons, Wukong defeated the Dragon King and other sea demons. He went on to win more battles, earning more formidable weapons and gaining more superpowers. His superpowers and weaponry were so scary that other immortals and demons shivered at the mention of his name. Sun Wukong could transform into 72 various appearances and cannot die since he is immortal. He possessed cloud-walking boots that could transport him hundreds of kilometers across the clouds. A single somersault could transport him 33,554 miles or 54,000 kilometers. He was also extraordinarily powerful, and he could sprint even while carrying 2 massive mountains on his back. But his favorite weapon was the Rui Jingu Bang, a gold-banded iron rod that could shrink to the size of a hairpin and expand to the size of heaven and hell. At his command, it can also fly and strike enemies. This rod weighs more than 8 tons, yet Sun Wukong could easily lift it. Unfortunately, even after discovering immortality and superhuman abilities, he was never pleased. He was still hungry and thirsty for more, and he planned to exploit his newfound talent to improve his honorific titles and reputation. This voracious thirst continued to increase. He was also irritable, angry, and enraged, and he created devastation in heaven. He finally got into problems as a result of these. So Yan Wang, the king of hell, was dispatched to find Wukong. He was finally brought to hell after multiple fights. Sun Wukong was no ordinary villain, and he duped Yan Wang into returning him to Earth with his cunning trickster sense. Before departing hell, the clever Wukong exacted his revenge by erasing himself and all of his other forest monkey pals' names from the Book of Life and Death. By doing so, he immortalized his monkey companions and himself, because the Fetchers of Death had no access to their names. Tampering with the Book of Life and Death was a significant mistake that enraged the gods, who were having trouble catching the Monkey King. Only with Buddha's assistance was he eventually vanquished and imprisoned, trapping him beneath the 5 Elements mountain for 500 years to teach him humility and tolerance. So he remained trapped in darkness and dampness for 5 centuries, and the only thing he could do was think about his violent past. Tong Sanzang, a wandering Buddhist monk, eventually came across the mountain where Sun Wukong was confined. Wukong, relieved to have been found, pleaded for mercy and asked to be released. The monk consented, but only on the condition that the Monkey King repent and become a student. Wukong found it difficult to accept the terms, but he eventually agreed. And that is the end of this video. What are your thoughts on this godly god? Comment down below. We'll see you next time. Till then, stay mythically mad.